and welcome to Sophico. My name's Sophie and today we're going to be talking about something that's a little bit different for my channel. So this was not the video that I had planned for this week. The video that I'd planned for this week I'm going to show next week instead. But yesterday I read an article that I found very concerning, and I really just wanted to talk a little bit about it because I don't think this article's being widespread very well, so I wanted to first of all spread the story and second of all talk about what this really means in practice. So the article is about a village called Fairborn in North Wales. It's a seaside town, very picturesque. A lot of people have spent their childhoods on the beach during the summers, so it holds a lot of memories for a lot of people. However, the council that controls the area where Fairborn is have decided that in 26 years' time they are going to completely evacuate the village and dismantle everything, dismantle all the homes, the shops, the school, and it will be returned to nature. Why is this? Because of climate change. Because the sea levels are still rising, they are going to continue to rise throughout the future, and Fairborn is a village that is it's basically sea level, it's basically at sea level, so it has very little protection against those rising sea levels. Now it does have a flood defence, as do a lot of coastal towns and villages in the UK. It does have a flood defence, but there's only so long that that flood defence is going to work for, and because of the fact that Fairborn is it's low, if a breach were to happen, it would very quickly become deadly and lives would be lost if there was a breach of the sea defence. The villagers who are currently living in Fairborn are pretty much trapped where they are. They can't sell their properties and move somewhere else because everybody in the area knows what's happening here. Nobody wants to buy houses, so prices for the area have just plummeted, so they can't sell up. They're trapped where they are and they're having to wait until this evacuation takes place for them to be placed in a town which they probably won't have any choice about which town they're placed into. And also it's not an ideal situation anyway because Fairborn is an English-speaking community, but the majority of that area of Wales is a Welsh-speaking community, or rather Welsh-speaking communities. So placing English-speaking people into Welsh-speaking areas is going to cause so many problems for the people who already live in those towns and villages and for the residents of Fairborn moving into those areas. Plus, there are 850 people living in Fairborn. To relocate that many people into towns, it's going to be difficult for the towns to take on that many new people in such a small amount of time, and of course being forcibly relocated is distressing for anyone. These people are going to lose their homes, they're going to lose the place that they grew up in, the place that they have so many memories for because of climate change. The people of Fairborn are being dubbed Britain's first climate refugees because this is the beginning. These will not be the only people that have to be relocated because the areas where they've grown up and where they live become uninhabitable. I myself am from an area of the UK called the Fens. If you don't know anything about the Fens, it's an area that is not just on sea level, it's below sea level. It used to be actually underwater and then was drained. So it's currently below sea level. And even as a child, I knew that when I grew up, I would probably live to see the area that I grew up in become uninhabitable due to rising sea levels, due to flooding. And now I can see it happening. If you think about Fairborn, 26 years time, in 26 years time I'll be 51. That is still a significant portion of my life that I'll have left to live after that, hopefully. Now I don't live in the Fens anymore, but that doesn't mean I don't still have a lot of connection to the area where I grew up. And of course I have family and friends who are still living in that area. There are thousands and thousands of people still living in that area, and this is just one of many areas that will be affected by rising sea levels. The CCC say that by the 2080s, about 1.5 million homes will be made uninhabitable due to flooding, which means millions of Britons are going to be going to be affected, going to be displaced, going to have to forge new lives for themselves in other parts of the country, and those parts of the country are going to have to take those people on. And are they going to have the space and the infrastructure for those people? Probably not. And even in that, we're just talking about Britain here. Britain is just a tiny portion of the entire world. There are other countries that are going to be far worse affected than Britain is. That again, there are other countries that are already being affected by climate change. People who are already losing their homes in other countries because of climate change. And of course, they're going to have to move as well. And here we're only talking about the flooding side of things from rising sea levels. Climate change is going to have so many other effects that will make other parts of the world uninhabitable for other reasons. So there are going to be millions and millions and millions of people who are affected by this and who will lose their homes and will possibly lose their lives as a result of this. But as hopeless as it all sounds, I do believe that there is still hope, there is still a chance that we can prevent the worst effects of climate change. Some of those effects are already in motion. There's some effects that we're just not going to be able to stop, but I do think we can still stop the worst of it. We can stop millions and millions of people from being displaced. So on a personal level, talking to you on a personal level, there are two main things that you can do to try and reduce the impact that climate change is going to have. First of all, look at your own life. Look, what can I change? If you think there's nothing that I could change, nothing that's going to make any difference at all, then I implore you to watch my channel and watch other YouTubers who also follow an eco lifestyle, because there is loads and loads of things that you can do. I've been mentioning quite a lot recently about energy usage, but if you change to a green energy provider, then you are promoting a system of green energy as opposed to energy that uses fossil fuels. Also look at your car usage. Can you reduce the amount that you drive in any way? I know for some people that's not a possibility. Like I say, I grew up in the Fens, I grew up in the countryside. I really couldn't have reduced my driving by a lot because of where I live, because of where I worked. But for other people you might be able to. If you can't reduce the amount that you drive, can you change to an electric vehicle being powered by green energy? Can you buy used items rather than brand new items in a lot of cases? All of these little things, they really do add up. And if you think, oh, it's just me, I'm not going to make any difference, well, that's what so many people think. Thousands and thousands, if not millions of people think that. But if you all made those changes, it would all make such a huge difference. If every single person living in the UK right now stopped driving for 1 day a week, or switched to a completely plant-based diet for 1 day a week, that in itself would make a huge difference. So if you think that you can't make a difference, you can make a difference. The second thing I would say is that you should speak to your MP, or if you live in another country that's not the UK, speak to your representative in your country's parliament about what they're doing to prevent climate change. Make your voice heard, because remember, politicians, they want votes, and if they know that this is an issue that a lot of the people they represent want discussed, want dealt with, then they're going to try their hardest to get that issue pushed forward in Parliament, get that issue discussed, get it debated on, get it hopefully made into new legislation that's going to create change, because they want your vote, and they know that if they're not dealing with the issues that the people they represent want dealt with, then they're not going to get your vote. I realise that this has been a slightly more negative video than what I would normally post, but this article just really hit home, because I think because of the fact that I have that connection with the area where I grew up in. There have been homes destroyed in my home county of Norfolk already because of accelerating coastal erosion, because of rising sea levels. So it is an issue that really hits here. And I have so many people that I care about, so many people that I know will be affected by this, that I don't want to be affected by this. So I felt that it was an issue that I had to speak about on my channel. But I don't ever want any of you to give up hope. I want you to keep pushing forwards, keep doing what you can do to make changes, because together we can make a difference. If you do want to see more about how you can make a difference, how you can make small changes to reduce your overall impact on the planet, then please subscribe below. And I normally would do like and comment, but it feels like a kind of not a really cheery end to this video. But if you do have anything to say on the topic, then please share with me. I would love to be able to discuss this issue with other people who care about it as deeply as I do. Okay, I'll see you next time.